Hey, Ori. How are you? How did you get to be the first one on here tonight? Like I had a bra on for some reason. Hello, whoever's here. Come on in and say hi. Hey, EJ, how are you? Wasn't sure you were going to be on here tonight. I'm just reading your glossary. Nina, you're so goofy. Hey, Nancy Lou Who. Oh, this is going to be good tonight. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. EJ, I hope they told you that I don't do British talk very well, and then you go in and you add this Max onto it, and this is gonna be good. Kind of like my Appalachian talk. Oh, Snapples! But I can't wait. This is gonna be awesome. Awesome! I can't wait. Damn, makes me want to go back to college. Well, I'm reading it in my Appalachian, which is Scottish Irish slang. I don't speak those either. I'm gonna read it in my Georgia accent because if I get too crazy with this, it's Mank. Like Hank Mank. Right? I do it right. Hey Karen. Say what? What did I say? Oh, snapples. Okay, so there's Miss Shirley. I was getting ready to say, where's Miss Shirley at? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do a little preview here, right, or a little something here before I get crazy. I'm gonna read the author's notes. That'll be the easiest. You guys are gonna have to go get the book. That's all I'm saying. It's got it. You got to get. So, author's note, which is Miss EJ. I'm assuming Miss EJ Frost, since it's a reverse harem. Hey, Patricia. Teddy, Charlie, and some of their friends speak a dialect of British English known as Hank Mank. It's from Manchester, okay, over in England, UK. Yeah, there, okay. So, for readers not familiar with Mank, I've provided a glossary at the back of the book. Hopefully, most of the Mank speak is clear from context, but I thought some readers might appreciate further explanation for the more obscure words and phrases. Teddy's Boys was initially released in serialized format on Kindle Vella with short chapters called episodes. I've kept the chapter headers in short format to preserve the serial reading experience. I hope it's not distracting to readers of the ebook and paperback versions. Teddy's Boys is a dark MMFM reverse harem romance, which means the heroine has multiple love interests and does not have to choose between them, which is our favorites around here. Thank you. Teddy's Boys contain elements of power exchange and is intended for mature readers only. So if you got any triggers, don't read it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Yeah, I'm going to have to read this book. And how many books are there for this? Is this a series? How many books are there? Hey, Karen, it's also a magical book. This is minding your book, girl. This is their book. We gotta read this. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. As you guys know, I don't do my hey Robin. I don't do my British very well. So just come on. Oh, I forgot. Robin and Patricia are the same people. Sorry. 3 books in the series total. Yay! Okay, so A Mank in Yankland. BJ, please don't roll your eyes at me when you hear me reading this, because this is like, ugh. And yeah, forgive my shirt. It looks worse on there than it does on here. I had a salad. I was eating on the couch, and so it all dripped down on me. So my apologies. I don't have to wear my glasses. I feel like I should put a bra on. Y'all know I hate bras anyway, but dang, this shirt shows my nips really good. I know the feeling. My name's not my name either, Robin. So yeah. And then the girls each have a name for me, I think. So yeah. All right. So A Mank in Yankland, chapter 1. Look at my shirt. See, Karen, I know you're laughing at that. See. All right. What do you get when you make a Manchester girl relocate to the dank backwoods of Massachusetts? Wait a minute. Massachusetts here, or is it Massachusetts over there? My name's my pen name too. It's so these heifers can't find me and stalk me all the time. Uh, a pissed off Mank is what? I hammer another cross uppercut elbow combination into the pads Charlie's holding for me. Years of graft, I snarl as I go in with a straight knee, which he barely blocks. For not, Da ships me off to the arse end of nowhere and then orders me to have tea with these wankers like they're the fucking royals. So Teddy's the girl. Okay, this gotta know what I'm doing here. Charlie. Okay. Let's give him the deep voice. How's that? I like. So EJ, help me out here because I didn't read. I don't like to read. I like to be shocked, and I should have read this one ahead of time a little bit. Um, Are the boys, is Teddy the only one from the UK and the boys are from the US? Is that how this works? Because that would make my life so much easier. Charlie's a big boy, 6'2" and 190 pounds. So it's really tall. Hefty, okay. So we're going to give him the deep voice. Charlie's a deep voice. I'm going to write these down. Charlie, deep voice. Gabe is from the U.S. Teddy and Charlie are both from Manchester. Okay. I don't know why I'm asking because I'm not going to be reading. I'm not going to be going deep anyway. So, ease off a little, Teddy. Charlie huffs as a kick drives him back a step. Come on, big boy, I tease, propping my gloves on my hips. Charlie is a big boy since his last growth spurt, 6'2" and 86 kilos, or 190 pounds if you think in old money. He's a good size, tall enough to prop his chin on my head, heavy enough to crush me under him. If I thought of Charlie like that, which I don't, he's my busy mate since we were kids. He came over to America 2 years ago, and I've missed him to the nine hells. Being reunited with him is the only good thing about my exile. Everything else just pisses me off. He raises the pads again, and I hammer combinations into them for another half hour until I'm sweaty and panting, and my anger's mostly spent. You guys can think of this mate talk, the Manchester talk, as Creole or just Cajun in general. That's a good one because they have a lot of their own words. You guys all know in your own area who's got their own words and stuff, but probably Cajun's a very popular one. Um, he raises the pads again, and I hammer combinations into them for another half hour until I'm sweaty and panting, and my anger's mostly spent. Charlie and I switch, so I have the pads, and he pounds away on them for less than half the time. His heart's clearly not in it. As we wipe down the pads and gloves, which we brought with us but clearly didn't need to because this posh school's posher gym has everything, I elbow him. What's wrong with you? Nothing. I'm excited to have you around. What's wrong with that? Why are you so angry about us being back together? I'm not, I elbow him. As long as you spar with me every day. Charlie groans. Oh, I can't. I click my tongue at him the way I know he hates. I really can't. I've got practice 4 days a week. I'm all yours the other 3. Charlie plays lacrosse. He's good enough to go pro if Magickal could play professional sports, which we can't. I know that's a restriction that's eating at him. He was heavily recruited out of high school and chose to come to Massachusetts instead of staying in England, which I've just about forgiven him for. I love watching him play. Not that I'd ever admit that to him. His matches are as close as I come to school sports. Charlie's the team player, not me. I'll hold you to that. Tell me again what the school's like. Registration isn't until tomorrow when our dorms and most of the campus buildings also open. Charlie's been here for over a month at lacrosse camp. I joined him 3 days ago and claimed a spot on the couch of the room he's been renting. We've walked around the campus quite a bit since I've arrived, but with most buildings still closed, it's just another architecture. Since Charlie has access to the gym for training, we've spent our evenings sparring. It's helped hugely with the jet lag, which was ferocious at first. But yesterday I woke up at a normal time and didn't spend 3 hours staring at the ceiling before I was able to sleep. So I think my body's starting to adjust. Jakes thinks it's old. I chuckle. Charlie and I have different ideas about what's old than people who live in a country about to celebrate its 250th anniversary. There are new buildings in England older than this whole country. Some of the teachers are older than the school, Charlie says, which draws another chuckle out of me. Are you fancy? And you fancy the parabole teacher, I say, grinning when the pink of exertion in Charlie's cheeks darkens to red. I could tell from talking to him last year that he had a thing for the pretty prof, and he was buzzing when he found out she'd be one of the teachers coming to Bevington as the upper fourth of his old school, Addlestone, combined with Bevington to create a co-ed college. She's okay, he grumbles. Better than the pyromancy head. You'll be meeting with him, I expect. Right, tosser? I sigh and push the sweaty strands of my fringe out of my eyes. Great. And the miss? Have you met her? He nods. She came and spoke at Addlestone about 1,000,000 times last year. For one, don't call her miss. Yanks are fussy about that. It's professor or for her, dean. She seems okay, but I hear she's salty about having to share the head with Dean Grovka. Try not to provoke either of them. I roll my eyes at him. Me? Hey, Sasha. It's reverse harem. Teddy's a girl. She's got 3 boos in this. But it is magical. Don't do it, Bean. The house won't appreciate the demerits, and I don't want to go to the lame harvest bonfire thing without you, and if you get suspended. Only Charlie would call me that nickname my mother called me before she abandoned us. And if anyone else called me Bean, I'd put them on their arse. But it's Charlie, so I just shake my head at him. I can't believe I'm back in a house so middle school. Told you. They think it's bloody Hogwarts West. I laugh and slap at his stomach with a towel. His round boy tummy has given way to a man's 6-pack in the last 5 years. Not that I've noticed at all. I've got you covered, though, he continues. You're in Phoenix House with me and on the girls' side of the quad. I haven't seen our dorms yet because the whole quad, dining hall, dorms, and rec center is closed off for some summer theater program until tomorrow. Charlie tells me the accommodations are posh, nicer than our old schools, but I roll my eyes at the idea of segregated housing. Having spent the last 2 years at an all-girls school and having hated every minute of it, I don't understand the point of having the boys and the girls in separate dorms. Do they think it's going to keep us from having sex? That's not going to happen. Also, Phoenix House is not the right place for me. I can guarantee it'll be full of fire mages, the little pyros. But since I already know I'm the only earth mage in my year, they're not going to make a house just for me. So I guess I'm in with the fire starters. Thanks for having my back, Chuck. I wink at him. He laughs at my use of the American nickname and tosses me a bag of gloves and pads to carry back to his junker of a car. Chapter 2, Tea with the Deans. Tea with the heads of my new school is a yawner until the end. They yap about how it's the new era for Bevington College of Magickal Instruction with a meager of 2 ancient institutions. Dean Quinn goes on about how happy they are to have us all. Dean Grodka smiles a not very nice smile and says how highly my Uncle Brendan speaks of me. All of this over tea that smells like perfume and isn't half as nice as a good builder's cuppa with little sandwiches so dry they crumble between my fingers. I know Dean Grodka's words are as false as his smile, My distribution network was stretching all the way south to Birmingham, and that threatened Brendan's patch. So Brendan got me exiled. I have to give him points for that, sly fucker. If he thinks shipping me off to Yankland is going to stop my expansion, he has another thing coming. I'll earthwalk each shipment right onto his front lawn if I have to. Brendan convincing Daw to send me statewide for uni isn't going to derail my plans. 4 years, and I'll be the premier supplier of enchanted stones from Edinburgh to Brighton. That's the plan. It's what I've been working toward for 3 years, and my petty uncle isn't going to get in my way. If anything, sending me to America only will open new supply lines and markets. I'll make sure of that. There are 5 other students at this tea with the dean's purgatory. I immediately dismissed 3 of them. They talk posh and look up their own arses. The other 2 intrigue me. A girl with more piercings in her face than I have, which is saying something. Where's Jackie at when we need her? Oh yeah, she's getting somebody to help her up with her chin-ups, isn't she? And a boy who sits slouched in his chair, drowning in an oversized hoodie, never lifting his head. I can't see anything beyond the tumble of his dark hair. Neither of them say much. Posh wankers fill the conversation with posh shite. I miss the boy's name, and neither the deans nor the other students speak to him after the initial round of introductions. The pierced girl's name is Rachel. We make eye contact several times after Professor Quinn says we're both taking advanced necromancy, and she expects great things from us. That tells me Rachel is an air mage, since neither water nor fire have much affinity for the dead. While the posh twats yap, I write my new American number on a scrap of paper and slide it under the table to her. She takes it without even looking, and a few minutes later, my phone buzzes in my pocket. I give her a small smile as the tea starts wrapping up, and she returns it. I might have found a friend. Yeah, right. I'm in sore need of them. Charlie's the only soul I know at this school of 4,000 students and a quarter as many staff. Back home, I had a crew. 12 kids I've known since I was in Gingham and trust with my life. I had my old school locked down. I knew everyone who was anyone, staff and students, their secrets, and how to supply their fixes of choice. Here, it's me against the world, and even though I know Charlie will always have my back, he's never been in the game like I am. His family's from Mottram, right across the road from Hattersley, but on the right side of the tracks in every sense. He's the straight to my curve, the white to my black. I love him, but he doesn't get me, not like my crew did. I'm alone here, and I don't like it a single fucking bit. Yes, Lasasha, it is PNR. It is Magickal Mages. As we're finishing milling around and shaking hands, Dean Grofka and E.J. Frost is the author. I think I forgot to put that on the title page, and I'll have to go back and fix that. But DJ Frost is E.J. Frost is the author, and she's telling me there are 3 books in this series. This is the first book. After we're finishing milling around and shaking hands, Dean Grovka herds me a little away from the group. I don't like this either. He turns so his broad body's blocking me from the room. My eyes dart around, seeking an escape route. Punching or kicking my way out will get me expelled before I even attend my first class. Using magic against my teacher will land me in front of America's Mage Council, the Adis Estrum. But this feels all kinds of bad, and I never ignore my instincts for danger. My hand finds the wall at my back. As soon as my palm flattens against the cool painted plaster, I feel the tug of the earth. It's an exterior structural wall with its footing sunk deep in my element. I can earth walk out of here before the dean can blink. Having a way out, I relax a fraction and eye the dean. Your uncle mentioned certain unfortunate activities you'd gotten up to at your old school, Miss Nowak. He says to me, his voice so low I don't think even the air mage can hear us. You won't be having a repeat of that here. Students can supply other students with spell constituents so long as they're of their own making, I respond, quoting the student handbook, and yes, I've read it cover to cover. That's just the thing, he says, his dark eyes cold above deeply grooved cheeks that have seen too much sun. Sunblock, mate, sunblock. I could supply him with some of the best if he wasn't threatening me. They're not of your making, are they, Theodora? Your uncle provided me with some of your stones, and some of the stones your fellow students claim you sold them. The auras are distinctly different. I know you didn't make them. If you try your tricks here, I'll make sure it comes to the attention of the review board. Such a shame for the first Earth Nowak to attend this school to be expelled for academic dishonesty. Now, I know this is a 2000% bullshit. I've never sold a single thing that wasn't my own work. But my cheeks flame with adrenaline, and the dean takes it as guilt. Excellent. I'm glad we understand each other. I understand he's my uncle's fucking patsy. We do, sir, I say with a sneer. Be sure that everything I sell my fellow students will be my own work, just like it was back home. His mouth pinches unpleasantly. Is he trying to smile, or does he just have indigestion? Probably the latter. With what with that manky tea? Students here are fully equipped with everything they need, Ms. Nowak, officially through the student union. We don't need any new suppliers on campus. Do I make myself clear? You do, sir. I'm more than happy to sell off campus. I've used my time in town wisely and made contact with the two local head witches who have shops in the small town that surrounds the school. They've both accepted samples of my work and said they'd get back to me. I'll just have to push a little harder to make sure at least one of them's willing to sell my line. Worse, I can hit the internet, but I learned long ago that my product shifts best from a storefront. Knowing he can't do anything to stop me selling off campus, I give him a vicious grin. He curls his lip and steps back. I move around him, keeping him in my sights as I edge out of the room. Back in the safety of my new dorm, I sit and stare at my phone while I consider who to call. Da won't back me. I'm not one of his lads, and I'm an earth witch, worse than useless in his eyes. If anything, he'll tell me to stop making trouble. After checking the time to make sure it's not after midnight in the UK, I pick up my phone and call Elliot. He's one of my 12 and is spearheading the southern distribution. He should know about the steps Brendan's taking against us. He answers immediately and carries his phone out of a loud pink and white strobing space into a quiet dark room. He doesn't turn on a light, and the blue glare off his phone makes him look like a ghoul. Hey, you kid. All good over there in Yankland? I shake my head and quickly fill him in. His frown fills the screen. I know he's your uncle, Tez, but this kind of disrespect. He tugs on his sponge twist. We look weak if we let it pass. I agree. Get the word out. He's not family anymore. None of his crew are family. No more courtesies. No discounts. Nothing. We don't sell to them. Anyone who deals with my uncle and his people gets nothing from us. Elliot nods approvingly. When are you back? I got some soft, posh boys want to meet you. Like I don't have enough of those here, Al. What do they want? Your dark line, smoky quartz, dead tongue, dead hand, dead foot, as much as you can make. I sigh. Of course they would want the product that takes the longest to enchant and takes the most out of me. But buyers are buyers, and soft, posh boys is Elliot speak for Southerners, so this is probably a forward step into a toehold in the South. Right, set it up any night my time, and I'll be there. Needs to be somewhere I can earthwalk to. Salamander Sam's, he suggests. Yeah, that's good. Wednesday night, when the bar's closed, ask Sam to be there too. Gives us a little backup, and I have some stones for her. Solid. Any problems with the last order? I shake my head. I've been able to find everything I need in Massachusetts, despite the school being in the butt crack of nowhere. Anything you can get, text me a list. I'll have it ready to take back with you. Thanks, Al. My pleasure. I miss you, he says gruffly. I miss you too. Ask Rose and Sash to come down if they've got time. I can't believe I haven't seen the three of you in a whole week. Feels like fucking years. He chuckles. Elliot's 2 years older than me and most of our crew. He was more my older brother's friend than mine until Danny moved to Blackpool to run shite for Daw. Danny left Elliot behind. His loss, my gain. In the 3 years since then, barely a day's gone by that I haven't seen Elliot, Rose, Sasha, and the rest of my crew. I miss them like I miss a fucking organ. See you Wednesday. You need anything between then and now, call. I will. Stay safe, mate. Brendan's not going to roll over and take this. He'll fight back. He'll hit back. Any hint of trouble, call me. New phone's always on. You got it. You got it, our kid. He waves and I wave back and try to ignore the cold crawl up my spine. I don't have any of the precognition Charlie's family is blessed with. So what I'm feeling is just the natural trepidation of going against the older generation of my family. Still, it's not a very good feeling. Chapter 3, Death of a Townie. There is serious money at Bevy. I don't come from money. Grandma and Granda Nawak had nothing more than a council house and a broken marriage. I was born in the same three-bedroom in terrace as my Daw and his four brothers, including Brendan the territorial tosser, formed a powerhouse crew in the 90s for the collection and distribution of fey mushrooms native to some of the seedier part of Manchester. Dodd amassed enough dosh to buy his way out of, man, I wish I could speak this accent. Oh, it would sound so good. Dodd amassed enough dosh to buy his way out of Hattersley by the time I started secondary school, which is how I ended up Shipton's Royal Grammar School for Witches, worthless girl that I am. After shipping me off to boarding school, Daw bought a McMansion in Altrincham so he could rub elbows with the Jaguar owning bastards at their golf course. Jaguar owning bastards at their golf clubs. He made sure I had the gear to fit in, clothes and phones and shite until I started running metal through my face and tattoos down my arms and became too much of an embarrassment to even have home on school holidays. So even though I know what it's like to be so poor, there was nothing but tinned beans on toast 5 nights a week. I also know what money looks like, and it is all around me at Bevy. From the cars in the campus car parks, and some of the models in the student car parks are even more swish than the models in the staff lots, to the designer gear most of the students are flashing. I get the Yanks don't wear school uniforms, and I wouldn't have worn them once I started uni anyway, but it's still something of a slap to my eye to see kids wearing Gucci and Chanel to class instead of school uniforms or trackies. Way too many of the boys are wearing Rolexes, and too many of the girls have Louis Vuitton bags slung over their arms. I brought one nice bag, a Kate Spade that was a Yule gift from my crew. Seeing all these posh birds with their bags, I've shoved the Kate Spade and the few designer pieces I have to the back of my closet and pulled my trackies, crop tops, hoodies, and chunky sneakers along with a leather backpack I bought off Etsy that has more pockets than anything I've ever owned. Right to the front. I plan to wear the fuck out of them. My new roommate, Serena, who has more than one Louis Vuitton bag of her own, does not approve of my fashion sense. She never emerges from her bedroom into our shared common room in anything less than couture and stilettos, even when we're just going to meet Charlie in the dining hall. She looks down her nose, which is too perfect to be natural, at my gear. But she's not nasty about it, at least not so far. She's also a fucking beg all over Charlie from the moment she spots his biceps, which is mildly annoying. Charlie ignores her blatant ogling, and she's not the only girl falling all over him, so I push my irritation down to the bottom of my mind where all thoughts of Charlie's abs and pecs and biceps dwell. Serena has a bunch of fire witch friends she hangs with that she knows from her prep school, Windlands. They sport deep summer tans on skin that's clearly never known a spot and universally wear their sleek, straightened hair in Ariana Grande high ponies. But either Serena's bored after going to school with them for several years, or Charlie's biceps are her kryptonite because she eats every meal with us after our first day in the dorms. Her friends ain't been that many voices yet. Where did I leave off? Let's say her friend somewhere. They don't talk much to me, either seeing me as competition for said biceps or irrelevant since I don't spend my time enchanting flame gems and summoning fire serpents, which is all they gab about. Charlie joins some of these conversations, which makes sense as he's a fire mage himself. I don't try to follow them since I'll never be able to do any of the things they're talking about. Instead, as we all sit at dinner, which the Yanks call lunch. Okay, see, my grandmother used to call lunch dinner, and then the evening meal was supper. So it was breakfast, dinner, supper. That's where she got it. She was Appalachian, so that makes sense. Which the Yanks call lunch, 2 days after tea with the deans and the day before classes start. I let my mind drift over the things I need to do to get the shipment together. After talking with Elliot, I spoke to the two head witches. One of them agreed to shift my product out of her shop and, even better, offered me the shop storeroom to use as a workspace in exchange for me manning the counter on Sunday afternoons. Charlie helped me recognize her shite after his millionth lacrosse practice yesterday. Now I've got a permanent circle laid and all my spell ingredients are reorganized. I thought recognized. Sorry. Charlie helped me reorganize her shite after his millionth lacrosse practice yesterday. Now I've got a permanent circle laid and all my spell ingredients neatly tucked into wooden shelving I bought for $1 from the local charity shop. Most types of stone are available in the UK with international shipping, but some of them, like turquoise, agate, is that how you say it? Agate? I can't remember. And opal are so much cheaper here, it's a crime not to use them. And because they're relatively rare in England, they'll command higher prices as long as I can convince British Magi they're even better than what they're already using. I'm turning over ways to market enchanted Yankstone when Serena grabs my hand. Nina's little me makes fun of me for saying supper. It took her forever to figure out when I said, "What'd you have for supper?" And she's like, "What?" All right, so I'm turning over ways to mark an enchanted yank stone when Serena grabs my hand. "We have to go to Old Chapel Beach this afternoon." I slant a glance at Charlie to help the girl out. I don't know yank geography all that well, but I'm fairly sure we're at least 100 miles from any beach. The steps of the old chapel in Hardesty Quad. Everyone calls it Old Chapel Beach and lies out on sunny afternoons. He gives a little snort of each old, and I grin at him. Sounds like sounds like fun. I agree. Serena claps and a bunch of the Ariana Grande lookalikes clap along with her. Charlie rubs his hand over his mouth. I think he's trying not to laugh at them. Bunch of fright bags. Charlie eats twice as much as the rest of us than any more I've met. Actually, I think he might be part troll. And of course, none of the girls want to leave until he does. So I'm trapped at the table with them until he finishes the Mount Everest of grilled salmon he's scranning. I listen to them plan their outfits for the beach, and they can all get fucked if they think I'm wearing a bikini in September in northern Massachusetts to lie on marble stairs with half an ear until one of them, Becky or Bethy, I can't remember, says, "I feel like I should wear a burqa. You know, they haven't caught anyone yet." Since I'm bezies with several girls who wear burqas, I open my mouth to slam Becky or Bethy for being a racist twat when another of the clones gasped, "Really? I can't believe there's a murderer still on the loose." Murder? This is the first I've heard of it. "Who was murdered?" I asked the clone herd. Serena answers me while the clones launch back into comparing their seasoned swimwear. "Her name was Jade," Serena says quietly. "She was a townie." I glance at Charlie, but his mouth's too full of salmon to answer my speaking look. "What's a townie?" I asked Serena. "Someone who's a student at Bevy but actually comes from the town. You must have noticed that most of the students are not from here." I haven't given much thought to where the Bevy students are from. They're all Yanks. Right, so, well, they're not really Bevy, are they? Becky or Bethy cuts in. They're like charity cases. Charlie reaches under the table and squeezes my thigh hard enough that I don't say what's about to leap out of my mouth in response to that bullshit. Serena surprisingly says, "Jade was actually really nice. I can't believe she's dead." Becky or Bethy turns back to the swimsuit conversation with a hair toss. "She was definitely murdered?" I asked Serena. She nods. "I've only heard rumors, but it sounds horrible. She was strangled and violated afterwards." Afterwards? I can feel my eyebrows shoot to my hairline and force them down with an act of will. Serena nods. "Gross, right? I mean, that's serial killer shit." "Hey, Julia." I glance at Charlie again, chewing another mouthful. He shrugs. Maybe he didn't know about the murder either. His old school is a 30-minute drive away, so there's no reason he'd know a girl from the town or be up on the local gossip. Although he's been here for a month on lacrosse camp, I've gotten the sense that he did nothing but eat, sleep, and breathe lacrosse before I arrived. Got fuzz on my lip or something. That's why I keep scratching my nose and my lip. Then I got chapstick on so everything sticks to it. "It is," I say, "and the police don't have any suspects." Serena shakes her head. "Betty's a little different than other places. The college has been here a long time." She glares at Charlie as he snorts around his salmon. "The college owns the town? There wouldn't even be a town without the college. So things like this, they don't get investigated by the police. The deans in the year and this year's Mr. Black will investigate and make sure Jade's family gets justice. That sounds old fashioned. Hey, Cheryl. Even if Mario England, the magical community, lets the police handle murders. What do you mean this year's Mr. Black? I asked. You'll hear about him and the crows at the dean's welcome on Friday, but Mr. Black's the head of campus security. The crows are security officers. And you think they'll solve Jade's murder? I asked. Serena nods. They're not what you think. Former cops who are a step away from retirement, like my bodyguards in New York. You'll see what I mean. They're impressive. I suspended judgment until I see these impressive specimens, but paid security guards are anything but impressive in my experience. I'm about to ask Serena why she needs bodyguards when Charlie pushes his plate away. Let me round up some of the team and we'll meet you girls at the beach. That elicits squeals around the table. Serena grabs my hand and pulls me up after her as she heads away from the covered outdoor dining area where we've been sitting toward our dorm. Come on, Teddy. We need to get changed. I start to protest. My black tracky bottoms and matching crop top are perfectly fine for sitting around on a bunch of stairs. But Serena's inner fashionista has been unleashed and there's no stopping her. She pushes into my room despite my glare and goes through my closet. Surprisingly, she doesn't pull out the designer gear. Instead, she hands me a plain navy swimsuit and dungaree shorts. With your white sneakers or wedge sandals if you have them. I don't. I have slides with a foof of feathers over the toes that I'm not wearing anywhere but the bathroom. Put all your piercings in, do your eyes, and either wear a baseball cap or a headscarf. Baseball's not a thing in England, I tell her. She rolls her eyes at me. Headscarf then. Trust me, you don't want to have a burned scalp for the first day of classes. With a reflection off the marble, it happens. Okay, I say, why you got all personal shopper on me? Because this is your introduction. Everyone will remember you from today. I know you don't care what people think, but this is your first impression. Make it count. All right, we're going to do one more chapter because I got started a little late. Sorry. Cheryl, no, you get your ass out here and chit chat. My girls love to chit chat with new people. So, chit chat. 4. Old Chapel Beach. I try not to care what people think, and I mostly succeed, but of course I want to make a good first impression. So I take Serena's advice, and while she's changing, put in my brow, nose, lip, and tongue piercings, while fill the holes in my ears with gold hoops, and wind a floral scarf around my head, tugging a few unruly black curls out to frame my face. I slather on the sunblock because I do not want to be burned anywhere on the first day of classes. Before I do a classic smoky eye and pop on raspberry lip stain. I can't be arsed contouring and it'll be half hidden under my Holly Golightly shades anyway. I prop them on top of my head, stash my phone and keys in my dungy bag pockets, and head into the common room to wait for Serena. Our common room is one of the smaller ones since there are only 2 of us sharing it. I've heard some of the bigger ones have bloody bars in them. Ours just has a pair of couches, a table that I've already verified is bolted into the floor, and a wall-mounted plasma TV that neither Serena nor I have turned on since we got here. I brought a telly for my room along with my game console, and I'm assuming Serena has one in hers. To give her credit, Serena doesn't take as long as I expect. She sails out in a Chanel swimsuit, complete with interlocking C's waist chain under a sheer white cover-up that wouldn't look out of place on a council estate, except that this is clearly designer. She does own wedge sandals, in gold of course, and she's taken the time to contour and put on a classic red matte lip. I decided not to tell her what Charlie calls birds who wear matte red lipstick. She doesn't look like a slag. Anyway, she's my brother, sorry. It could be something funny or it could be nothing. Found out Grandpa is addicted to Viagra. No one is taking it harder than Grandma. He just sent that to my daddy. Gotta understand it. She's very fit, particularly as she snaps on ombre sunglasses and sachets over to take my arm. On her wedges, she's as tall as my 5'9". You look ridiculously boss, she says, and I'm not sure whether to be flattered or insulted. How do you get that kind of definition? She runs her red gel nail over my exposed shoulder. I don't think I'm particularly defined, not compared to Charlie anyway, but compared to Serena, who is a skinny white girl in the mold of all skinny white girls, I probably am. I kickbox, I tell her. Muay Thai. How you say it? Muay Thai. Muay Thai. It's actually Muay Borain that I've been studying for 3 years because of my crew. Because as my crew told our all-girl class a million times, we don't live our lives in the ring. If we're attacked, we're not there to score points. We're there to put our attackers on their arses and get out alive. But most people haven't heard of Muay Borain, so I tell people the watered down version of the combat style and avoid a slew of questions. Damn, she drawls. You're a boss bitch. Come on, let's go incite some boners. Charlie and 3 of his extremely fit friends are loitering in front of our dorm. Charlie immediately takes me under his arm. I tip my head back and kiss his cheek. Caveman. Charlie the caveman was what Elliot called him when we were all hanging out together. Charlie's always been protective, ever since we were little kids, even before we started boxing together. I don't mind. Sure, the clock blocking was annoying, but between his precognition and solid instincts, Charlie can spot trouble 20 kilometers away. There's no one I'd rather have at my back. Anyway, his lacrosse friends have that notch on the bedpost look about them, with their Ray-Bans, deep tans, and board shorts. I'm happy to leave them to Serena and her friends, who flock around them like fucking gannets. It looks like the entire student body is on the wide, white steps of Old Chapel Beach. Although the chapel's a big building and the stairs ring it on 3 sides, that makes the beach a little crowded, and we have to climb over a cluster of boho stoners playing guitars to reach a clear spot. A lot of the students are smoking, and the skunky smell of weed wrinkles my nose. I twist my neck to look up at Charlie and lift my eyebrows. It's legal here. I knew that. I just hadn't made the mental adjustment to having bud smoked out in the open. It's always been such a clandestine activity for us. British police aren't as hot on weed as they are on harder drugs, but you don't want to get caught with more than one baggie if you want to avoid an ankle monitor. We find seats and 2 of the girls spread huge blankets over the cool marble, so it's even comfortable sitting. I end up between Charlie and Serena to her disappointment. But her pout doesn't last long when one of the lacrosse players stretches out on the step below her and starts playing with her feet. His begging is too obvious. I tell him where to go, but Serena seems to like it. Charlie, who still has his arm practically locked around my shoulders, leans in and whispers,
Stay away from these guys, Bean. They're all mingers.
Which is why you're friends with them. He nudges my temple with his forehead, a very gentle headbutt.
I'm not a minger. Now what? Now what? We're back together. I'll remind you of what kind of guy I am. Since you didn't manage to get yourself suspended meeting with the deans, you're coming to the harvest bonfire with me, right?
Are we getting naked and leaping over it?
Don't be surprised if that happens, Charlie says, rubbing his cheek against mine.
He must have shaved while he changed into the hot boy uniform of tight t-shirt and board shorts because he doesn't scrape my face off and I can smell the clean pine aftershave he uses. The gesture's kind of cat-like, but also weirdly sexy, and I'm really glad my dungy bib is hiding my chest because my swimsuit's not lined. Orgy, huh? I'm not against orgies. I lost my virginity at a Samhain celebration, and it was the best sex I've had. But that was after Charlie left, and I've certainly never said anything about it to him.
I won't let anything happen to you,
He says. I elbow him lightly in the ribs. Ditto, Chuck. There are some right thirsty slags here. Charlie cast his eyes over the other half of the blanket where the girls who haven't paired off with any of the lacrosse players are watching him hungrily.
You called it. I need protection more than you do. You'd better be on me like glue.
Like white on rice, I promise.
Like Hatton on Costello.
Charlie responds, referring to the Manchester's golden boy boxer Ricky Hatton's famous fighter against Jose Luis Castillo. Karen, you're killing me. Yes, she is, Nancy. She is feeling better. Thought I was going to have to send Big Daddy up there with her because he's been snorting and coughing and hacking and all that good, nasty stuff. Um, you know it. Let's see, wait a minute. Like stink on shit, I say. Charlie chuckles, warming my ear.
You always gotta go there, Bean.
You know it. I turn my face up to the autumn sun and enjoy the warmth. I'm gonna jet soon and finish up the load I'm taking to Elliot. I told Charlie about the consignment when we were setting up my workspace. You coming with?
Yeah, I don't like the idea of you being alone in town after hearing about that girl.
You hadn't heard about it before I asked? Oh, now my eyes are itching. Dadgummit.
No one's mentioned it. I get why you birds would be more worried about it. That's shady shite.
I nod. Necrophilia in the darkest of the dark. I've never known anyone who would do anything approaching that level of evil, and my family is not known for their halos. But there are always whispers. Really dark magic carries a ton of juice. It twists a magi into something unrecognizable pretty fucking fast. But before it consumes the soul, the magi is fucking Dumbledore and Gandalf and Merlin, all rolled into one and hopped up on E. What about these crows Serena was talking about? Are they from your old school? Charlie shakes his head.
We had normal campus cops, just like Shipton's.
Seems sketchy to me that cops here wouldn't investigate a murder, I say.
Yeah, we going? Maddie looks like she's about to crawl over here and hump my leg.
Charlie tips his chin at an Ariana Grande clone who's all but licking her urban decayed lips as she stares at him. Aw, you know her name. That's sweet.
Fuck all the way off.
I take pity on him and make her excuses to Serena, who is far too involved with the lacrosse lad at her feet to do anything more than wave a vague goodbye. And that's it. Whoop! Done. Hey, Julia. Did I say hi to you? I don't even know who's been on here tonight. I've got a crowd of people on here tonight, and I'm just happy as can be. All right, so everybody go get the book. I'll find over for you. Nina put in the Nina put up in there how much it is and where it's at and all that good stuff. So go get it. This is book 1, and there's going to be 3 books. So if you guys can see that, it's hot as hell, y'all. Especially this dude here. I want to know who this dude is over here on the end. Oh, I like his cockiness. I know, right? Yes, Julia, 3. Oh, that's Charlie on the end. Ooh-wee. I assumed Charlie was in the middle. I like Charlie on the end. I like this. This is my kind of book. Karen and I are always talking about these kind of books. This is my kind of book. This is my thing right now. This and MC. I got MC books coming out my ears right now. I'm reading them everywhere. Yeah, we kind of missed you, Karen. Yes, you do. All right, so tomorrow night we have Protected by Liz Scarin. I can get to it. Liz Scarin. I'll protect her no matter the cost. So you ladies come back tomorrow night for this one. It should be really good too. But go out there and get this book for tonight. Teddy's Boys. Let's get some magic going. Me, I'm going to sit here working tomorrow while my niece puts my Christmas tree up. She's home from college, so I'm hiring her to put my tree up and maybe my bed. I got my bed the other day, and I've been working too hard to get it put together. I've been exhausted. I've been working 9 hours a day or so. Well, Miss Julia, you'll just have to come back, darling. We welcome you every Wednesday and Thursday night at 8 o'clock Eastern time. We're here. Come on back. You can join our little group of chaos, and we'll just ruin you two along with like they've ruined each other. Thank you, EJ, and I'll get Nina with you, or get with Nina on. I'd love to read book 2 and 3 on here too, so just let me know. Yes, ma'am, Miss Julia. My little group of chaos is what it's all about. So come on back anytime. Alrighty, y'all. Have a good evening. I gotta get up early in the morning, go pick up my niece, and then get back to work on time. So I shall yak at y'all later. Have a good evening. Thanks, girl. Oh, it's on Bella now. Okay. All right, y'all. Have a good evening.